Welcome to this practice of yoga Nidra tonight in our Queer Nidra series. We welcome the whole self. Getting comfortable in the body, today's practice will be woven around breath and breathing. And with each inhale that the body receives an opportunity to release and let go and clear of all that is no longer here to serve us. We'll do that in the systematic framework of Yoga Nidra that allows the brainwave activity to shift. And you might experience something in between being asleep and awake. You might completely fall asleep, and that's fine as well. And you might feel completely awake the whole time. Again, there's no wrong way to do this. This is your practice. And this practice serves to cultivate, among many things, a place to be in the unknown, a dwelling in the mystery. There is so much paradox. There is so much contrast here on earth, here on our experiences with humanity. And so this practice is here to help be a witness to that multiplicity and complexity, and to find grounding and steadiness within an inner resource. And that begins with the body. That begins with this human form that we organize into a comfortable position, finding the most comfortable expression for yourself tonight. So that might be the legs folded up or the legs straight. You might be on your back, on your side, on your belly. The invitation is to find a position that you can repose in, that you can surrender to the earth. A position that allows the body to feel held and cared for. So you might use pillows and cushions, and this is a whole piece of this practice to get the body accommodated. I'm a great big fan of weighted blankets and body pillows, and putting a knee on a pillow or a pillow between the knees or under the knees, taking all the time in the world to faff and to explore, to get the body into its most comfortable, most easy position, like the most precious physical object in your possession. Even if sometimes it feels like a trap or is a burden, let this moment be a moment of welcoming this body as the vessel that it is. Organizing those legs and those arms, noticing if the hands like to be on the body or near the body or out away from the body, above the head. Again, no wrong position. Where does the body feel held? And as you find that, and you find stillness, allowing the body to rest upon the earth, I connect with my land and geography here, where I come to you from Northeast Ohio, the historical land of the Erie and the Mississauga people. And perhaps you know the ancestors of the lands that you are upon, or perhaps there are ancestors that you wish to call upon in this work tonight, in this work with the breath, and this work of clearing and inviting the light. And noticing how that feels in the body, just bringing those thoughts of the earth beneath you and the ancestors of this lands, and perhaps personal ancestors. How does the body respond? And there's no wrong way. If there's a fear or a mistrust, welcoming that as well as welcoming joy or comfort. Allowing there to be a curiosity in the witnessing as the body settles ever more comfortable, letting go of these feelings as they arise, turning to the breath and taking a moment to notice this natural breath. How is the body breathing now spontaneously? And how might it feel to pause the inhale partway in and continue to have a smooth exhale to follow? If there is no strain Try that a few times, maybe even taking a few pauses along the way, a little sip of inhale and a pause, another sip of inhale, another pause. And topping off that inhale, taking a moment to exaggerate, to expand and stretch the lungs if it feels good. And doing it physically or doing it in your imagination if the body feels tired or in any way strained by this recommendation. What I have for you are suggestions, and I request that you make decisions along the way. Follow the instructions that feel right and good. And if something feels suspect, let it go. So these sips of breath, this accumulating breath, this interrupted breath helps increase the lung capacity, helps bring more oxygen into the body, nourishing the heart, the lungs, and every cell, every organ, the limbs, the muscles, all the way to the skin, hair, and nails. So if it feels good, take a giant, giant breath and let it go, allowing the breath to return to its natural autopilot, spontaneous ways. And witness, just take a moment to watch and be there. Listen for the sound of the breath. As you allow the ears to listen in every direction, listen to the room where you're practicing and the space beyond, out the windows, out the doors. Listen to the sounds of these instructions and any sounds coming from electronics or technology. Listening in to the sounds of the body. Are there sounds from the heart or digestion? And listening to the really subtle sounds, the sounds that are perhaps wishes or dreams, perhaps worries or concerns. Listening into any chatter that just lingers in the mind or anywhere else in the body. And holding this question of how do I wish to feel? Letting the heart entertain that invitation. How does the heart wish to feel? What would it feel like to receive adequate oxygen and have lungs that are expanded and open and free? What would it feel like to be clear of any dark influence, to be full of the light, anchored in the inner resource? Just asking that as a question. There might not be an answer, holding it as a seed of mystery. Inviting that query into the space of the heart. And just below, around the sternum, around that center bone, the breastbone, the awareness drops in there. Take a moment to notice that bone at the middle of the chest and the ribs that move right and left out from that center breastbone, all the way to the collarbones, right and left. Be aware of the hollow between. Out to the shoulders. Be aware of the bony landmarks on the shoulders, down to the landmarks of the elbows and the wrists, to the tips of the thumbs on the right hand and the left hand, tips of the index fingers, tips of the middle fingers, tips of the ring fingers, and tips of the little fingers. Be aware. Be aware of these hands, and at the center of each palm, place a small light. This might be a starlight or a tiny flame, maybe the sparkle of a jewel, or the light from something like a light beam. Choosing an image of light that feels nice and comforting, Placing that in the right hand and the left hand, and let this light fill the fingers of both hands, right and left. Feel the palms, fill the wrists and forearms, fill the upper arms into the tops of the shoulders and the armpits. Let this sense of light, this symbol, find itself within the expanse of the chest, throughout the complex constructions of the lungs, like upside down trees that are made of balloons, tiny grapes that inflate and deflate. Let these receive light, maybe starlight or moonlight, candlelight or sunlight, to these expanses of the lungs and the tissues around the lungs, and to the heart and to the center, to the right shoulder blade and the left shoulder blade and the space between the shoulder blades, out to each rib in the back on the right and the left, expanding this light down to the abdomen, upper abdomen, navel and lower abdomen, through the organs of digestion, back to the kidneys and the low back, and scooping down to the buttocks, right and left, to the hips and down the legs. Feel the bony landmarks of the hips and the knees, the landmarks of the ankles and the heel, the tip of the right big toe, tip of the second, third, fourth, and fifth toes on the right, and the tip of the left big toe, and the tips of the second, third, fourth, and fifth toe. And bring the awareness down to the center of the right foot and the center of the left foot. And here again, in the center of the feet, that spark of light, be it a star or a jewel or an indescript beam of light of any color, any intensity, filling the feet, filling the expanse into the toes, right and left, through the heels and ankles, through the shins and calves, up into the thighs and hamstrings, the inner thighs and the outer thighs, into the expanse of the buttocks, and back to the trunk of the body, filling again this light to the lungs and heart, sweeping again to the collarbones and the shoulders, to the neck this time, and up to the back of the head, to the right side and the left side, to the right ear and the left ear, down to the chin and lips, the nose, the right cheek and left cheek, right eye and left eye, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, and in the center between the eyebrows, place this symbol once again, this spark of light, perhaps a tiny sun, perhaps the moon, a candle flame, a diamond. Expanding the light into the head, into the forehead, into the expanse of the hairline and the crown of the head. And together, the head and face are filled with the light that fills the neck and shoulders, that fills the right arm and the left arm, chest and upper back, low back and abdomen, pelvis, right leg and left leg. Together, both legs, the trunk and both arms, neck and head, together, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body, filled with light, the whole body, breathing. With every inhale, filling with nourishment, with light, and with every exhale, clearing, every exhale, making way, clearing anything from the corners of the inner landscape that might feel dark, that might feel like it has an influence that is no longer welcome. Letting the exhale remove and send that out. And that space is quickly filled with the inhale of light, with an inhale anchored in an inner resource. That body wisdom, the self knowing the self, What would it feel like to be free? What would freedom in breath feel like? What would freedom from influence feel like? Asking the body to show you, asking the body to generate sensations that are nourishing and satisfying. And what would life look like? What would I do? How would I live with this freedom? What might that look like? What choices might I make? What might I be able to accomplish with this freedom? Just holding that as a question, and there might be thoughts and ideas that rush in and come in with answers, and there might not be. There may be the stillness of the mystery. And it might be that this seed begins to sprout later, in a dream in the night, or in a seemingly random walk in the woods. Trusting the body and trusting the process and trusting every breath, listening in, listening in. Asking the body, what do you need? What does this body need? What does the body need next? What does the body need ongoing? And the body might need to stay right here and rest, and that's a welcome choice. And the body might be willing to complete the practice and come out of this state of awareness, listening to the decision from within and moving absolutely at the body's speed, at organ speed, listening to kidneys and guts and liver and spleen, lungs and heart. Listening to the rhythms, listening to the body, listening to the breath, listening to the physical sounds that the breath makes as it moves through the nose, listening to the room, the house, the whole neighborhood, sending the awareness out across the accessible soundscape and bringing it back in to feel the breath. Come back and notice the sensation of air in the nose. Notice the movement of the lungs, the abdomen with each breath. Be aware and once again feel the whole body. The legs and the arms, the trunk, neck and head together, the whole body. Front and back, the whole body, right side and left. Lower and upper body, and the outside and the inside. Together, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. If it feels good to end the practice, begin to deepen the breath and make tiny movements. Move the tongue and the lips, maybe the eyebrows, the fingers and the hands. Wiggle the toes and the feet. If it feels good to emerge out of the practice, make any movement that the body needs to and wants to. And the choice might be to stay in stillness. The choice might be to keep resting. Following that intuitive knowing, that body wisdom of what the body needs in terms of stillness or movement. And if you wish to wake the body up and these movements feel good, you might rub the hands together, bringing warmth to the hands, maybe even blowing a little exhale, warm eyeglass cleaning exhale to warm up the hands. Bringing that darkness and warmth over the eyes, closed or open. If it feels good to awaken the body, let the hands touch the face or be near the face. Maybe pinch the earlobes and do a little massage of the edges of the ears and back down. Letting the hands keep returning to each other, maybe massaging the fingers of one hand and then the other. If it feels good to awaken, to stimulate the nervous system this way, this soothing, awakening way. The feet might be wiggling, the hands are moving. The practice is coming to an end. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you are awake, let yourself be awake and alert. And if you are resting, let your rest be deep and complete. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and leave a comment about your experience. And while you're here, please subscribe to my channel and opt in for notifications to catch the next class I upload. And then head over to olgachwa.com to join in a live event or to work one-on-one with me. I'm here to help.